Okay, got it. And that's why I call my talk today Dance, Dance Wherever You May Be. Because dance is within us and it certainly continues to inspire me, enable me in learning about myself and the world around me. So the first slide is at the Natural History Museum. And as I mentioned, I love creating work which is interactive. And Indian dance uses a lot of hand gesture, facial expression. So it's a combination of dance and storytelling and theater. We use a lot of not text, but a lot of voice. So just very quickly, tam tata kitanaka jam tari kitataka tata kitanaka jam tari kitataka tam tata kitanaka jam. So these are all just rhythmic sounds that we are very familiar to use, and we used to also in India. I used to also do Sanskrit plays, so we are used to speaking and using text. And my love of stories and text, both from the Indian context and the English literature. And I'm working with an opera singer, and this was just done under the dinosaur. And within this, you can see different sections had people who had to come and engage with us as part of the story. And that's the dinosaur. Um, and similarly, this was at the V&A Raphael Gallery. We were invited to create story based on the Raphael's cartoons. And so we did that, and then the audience danced and moved to another panel where they sat and listened to these stories that they have seen. And this was at the V&A again, Nehru Gallery, when V&A wanted to launch certain exhibits in this gallery. They invited us to react or respond rather to the gallery, and we created a piece of work. That's Annie Blaber. She's a very well-known actor. You might have seen her on many Hollywood screen. So this is British Library. They had an exhibition of the Ramayana, and my company, we presented work. And often when I'm making work on site or inside museums, library, we would research and create the work prior, but then go back into the space to rehearse sometimes, and that'll help shift the piece a little bit. And often we have a workshop as part of this as well. So you will see after we've told our stories, we get people to engage in learning some of the movements. And this is a British Museum. They again had a Bengal month, Durga Puja month, and they had invited me to do a performance and then a workshop. Now, this piece is a real fun piece. It's called Color Contact. Museum of London invited our company to create work based on the oral history and oral archive they have around what Londoners thought about London. And this was my moment or our moment of great joy to not only be at the Southwark Underground, but and the next slide you will see, it says Color Contact performance by us. So that was really fun to do. And we performed this piece at shopping centers and lots of different places. But we were very keen to perform it at the underground, because it's also a place where travel happens, and you connect to a lot of people. So that's the underground, and that's at the Southwark. And now this is a piece. This is Lady Curzon. I don't know how many of you know about Britain's colonial history. So British landed in India in 1608, and they in when Queen Victoria, she gave a dictate. She signed a paper to say that the British sailors can trade outside and they can trade with India. So they came then and slowly established trading units, bought land in India. Then they created a company called the East India Company, and they wanted to gather land. And for doing that, they had to establish army, which no other company had done. And so East India Company ruled from 1818 to 1857. And then the British Empire. Then after that, British Empire got established because the company was getting more powerful and had more money than the royalty or the crown here. So in 1857 till 1947, which is 130 years, Britain officially ruled India, and prior to that, another 100 years with the East India Company. So this is Lady Curzon, who was the representative of the Crown in India as Viceroy, Lord Curzon. And there they have this extraordinary house in Kedleston. So we were invited to reinterpret the whole collection. And this is a peacock dress. It's made out of silver, rubies and sapphire. When Lady Curzon came to India, the artists were asked to weave this gorgeous gown that she's wearing, and she probably just wore it for one day when she came to India. So this was a promenade piece. We were based there for a week, looked at the collection, and then I made this piece with various community groups around Kedleston for them to understand the collection, colonial history, and what it means for them and everybody today. So that's the beautiful, magnificent Kedleston Hall. And this is from the heart piece of work that as I said, my practice is with inclusive dance, disability. So this was a piece that was influenced by inclusive work that I did in India, very classically. And the same piece, I remade it for the UK public. And this is the piece that I made. And my performance is in the hospital, creating work. And a lot of the times I would take not only my classical work, but also I would create work that might be influenced by people's stories, or they might say, I like a certain poem or a certain idea, and I would make that work for them. So this is in the hospital, again, hospital, and various different hospitals. And again, this is work I did touring communities, daycare centers and psychiatric centers. And this young person had a love for being ferocious. So he's doing a tiger and a lion, and the staff were telling me a certain story that he likes, and I'm just reflecting that story for him. And then we have a really nice dialogue and movement together. This is Anjali Dance Company, an inclusive dance company that I made work with and danced with them. And this is English Touring Opera. They invited us to work with them on this project called House on the Moon around the idea of refugees and migrants. And this is Magna Carta, a promenade performance around and within Salisbury Cathedral. And this is Papillon. I'm working with children with autism to then create a family-friendly autism performance. This is a piece of work that I did with another friend of mine called Fleeting Moments, which is a dementia family-friendly performance work. So a lot of interaction. This is a piece called Been There, Done That, Still Moving. I was invited by Suffolk Art Link and Dance East to create a piece of dance theatre work, working with 3 different groups of elders. This is an elder dance company. There was also a group that was in the library and another group. and we created a piece of work that resonated for them, with them, from personal stories to my connection with Suffolk and with India. And I've also made a film, a 10-minute film that's available. But it was also, the 10-minute film was also sent to lots of daycare centers, community centers, to get them inspired to dance and move.